Before starting the topic, it is important to define the concept of assertiveness, that is a social skill that is worked from within the person. It is defined as the ability to be clear, frank, and direct, saying what is meant, without hurting the feelings of others, or belittling the word of others, only defining the right as a person. And well, going into the subject of the psychological aspect of assertiveness, this is based on the idea that every human being has fundamental rights that we must respect for ourselves and others. So, assertiveness does not aim to achieve what we want through the control or manipulation of others. Very contrary, what is intended is to help us to be ourselves, developing our effective interpersonal communication. As for the pattern of thought, they know and believe in rights for themselves and for others. Their mental chains are mostly rational. This means that they do not allow themselves to be dominated by irrational beliefs typical of other communication styles. According to psychology, behaviors can be divided into three categories: passive, aggressive, and assertive. But I will not delve into these points because they will be explained by my colleagues. But it's important to mention that all of them have their respective advantages and disadvantages in the short and long term. However, while the first two have more short term benefits, in the long term their consequences are not as attractive. On the other hand, the assertive style is that through which the person expresses his point of view respecting the point of view and rights of others. It is important to be aware that assertiveness is not an innate behavior that we inherit genetically. Assertiveness is part of our social learning. We learn to be assertive, passive, or aggressive, depending on our behavior models and the reinforced ones that we have been showing one or the other type of communication.
The legal aspects of assertiveness. Within the legal framework, there are rights that each person owns and must be respected by all. Among them are the following: to be treated with dignity and respect, the right to have and express one's feelings and opinions. We can say, as an example, that we can say no without feeling guilt. We can ask for we want, releasing that my interlocutor also has the right to say no, the right to be heard and taken seriously, the right to judge my needs, set my priorities, and make my own decisions. In our political constitution, we can find that effective communication is our right, and to do is assertively is our choice. In this way, we can put our interesting about the others without feelings bad or guilty. We can have the freedoms to set clear limits in which others should not do except themselves, that it's also our rights, and to does no mean at all that we are selfish, ranges we exercise our rights. Finally, we must be clear that being able to express ourselves with assertiveness does not mean in any way that this will make people change their way of understanding this or their position. An issue automatically is also of duty to respect others how we respect do you respect us.
The aggressive communication style involves use of language for obtaining personal benefits without afraid of the other's satisfaction. The subject, who communicating in this way, only gives yourself attention. It doesn't matter the feedback given by the other talker. The aggressive communication is characterized by absence of listening during the communication process. The transmitter is limited to project its messages, normally in intensive and decisive way, and refuse to the other participants. It isn't the best way to communicate. I recommend adopting an assertive communication style.
I will talk about the process of communication in the business context, as well as recommendations for improvement. Communication styles are the main ways in which we exchange information. Knowing how to recognize and manage them properly is the key to improving the quality of a negotiation. This depends, among other things, on the attitudes and elements of social skills that we use to express our ideas and emotional states or feelings. Aggressive style. The elements that characterize this communication style are verbal and non-verbal traits, as well as direct accusations and reproaches. In short, the objective of this set of initiatives is to enter into a dynamic of power in which one has the domain and the other part is minimized. Inhibit style or passive. This is a style of communication based on the inhibition of those thoughts and feelings that in normal situations could be expressed. Its purpose is to limit much the communicative flow, either because there is something that hides, because it is information that incriminates, or because the possibility of not pleasing others is feared. Assertive style. It directly communicates what one thinks and feels, as long as he believes that it has value and that he will not unduly bother someone. That is, it communicates honestly and transparently, but without trying to dominate the other person. An effective communication can be cared about following a series of steps and attention at the time of carrying it out. Make eye contact. Looking at a person's eyes is the safest and most effective way to transmit confidence. Gesture. According to specialists, 90% of communication we transmit is not verbal, but gestural. Our body movements communicate much more than we think, even unconsciously. Go to the point. Mastering communication does not mean talking a lot, making endless presentation, or sending long messages by mail. Focus on being clear on your ideas and eliminating the feeling to convey accurate messages. Listen before speaking. A good communicator is always a good listener. Those who know how to listen do not lose information, ask timely questions, and understand their interlocutor. Ask more questions. You do not have to have all the answers. Being able to openly express your doubts and admit when we do not understand an idea allows to achieve a better understanding. Read. Reading improves our oral and written communication. It helps to have a better spelling and expands our vocabulary. Choose the correct medium. Is your means of communication always email? Maybe you will get much more from some people if you come to talk personally. Do not interrupt. Avoid completing the speech of others with your own ideas and or divert the subject of a conversation. Practice in front of the mirror. In a conversation face to face or before a group of people, it is not always easy to become aware of our body language. Links. Effective communication does not only have to do with work or business. It is impressive what we can obtain from someone if the conversation starts asking something personal. Now, about the communication in the context of business. Communication generates trust in a negotiation. Generating trust implies connecting. Effective communication achieves the necessary degree of connection between the parties of the success of the negotiation or by calibrating and tuning their different communication styles. Communications is the focus in a negotiation. It is the tool to move from the positions of the parties to their true interests and to focus on the issues that are being negotiated instead of the people who are doing it. The communication determines and reveals the context of any negotiation. When it is effective, it facilitates the effective exchange of messages and the proper interpretation of equivocal or implicit behaviors, and attitudes, and meanings.